Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek. Hopefully you're hearing me this time. It all went wrong before. This is about the third time I've tried, and my microphone won't working, and this won't working. But we're here. So let's get into the intro. See you back in a bit. Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek. I'm here with an impromptu news session, or is it news, whatever. So let's just get the news up, eh? I haven't got anything planned. I'm just going into it. Dry, as they say. Well, that came across a bit rude, didn't it? Right, so where are we? There we go. Prey. Right, you might know. Prey is a new film that's on Disney Plus in the UK. It's on Hulu in America. And apparently, it's, as it says here, Dan Trachtenberg's the director. Predator prequel is Hulu's biggest movie or TV series premiere ever. So there you go. Now, it's a bit divisive, is Prey, sort of. Even though just about everybody I've noticed online on the YouTubes really like it or think it's all right, there are some that really don't like it. And to be honest, I don't know why, because I loved it. I thought I won't say it were great, but I thought it were really good. Really enjoyed it. Didn't have any problems with it. Didn't think it were woke. People said it's woke. Said she's a Naru, the main character, saying she's a Mary Sue and she's the bestest ever. But she isn't. If you watch the film, she isn't. She takes her licks, takes her knocks, and she gets back up. She's clever. She's resourceful. She's tough. But it don't mean she's super strong or they say 90-pound girl fighting a predator. Yeah, she fights it with her wits. She outwits it, because it's not the smartest predator we've ever seen, really, is it? It's more. I mean, they call him the feral predator for a start, so it suggests he might not be the sharpest predator in the box. So anyway, right, the decision to debut. By the way, that's a dog. Can't remember the dog's name, but the dog's amazing as well. And they said, "Oh, what a lovely dog." A Plains Indian wouldn't have that sort of dog, that's as lovely looking as that. Why not? Anyway, the decision to debut Prey on streaming instead of in theatres was widely criticised. By the way, this is on comicbookmovie.com. As usual, they're not there at the moment because I'm like flying by the seat of my pants, but when I've done, I'll put all the links in the description below. And don't forget, up there, the red boxes, like and subscribe and do all that other stuff. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to be known, they're doing stuff. Where were we? Widely criticised, and while the stunning looking movie, it's very well shot. Would indeed have been well suited to the big screen. It looks like the movie has paid off for Hulu. In Los Angeles, there were some theatrical screenings of Prey, because I think John Campion said he saw it on the big screen, and Cameron Pasha also said he saw it on the big screen. It might have been at the same place that John Campion went, because there were the cast were there and they did a Q&A and all that. So I bet it were good on the big screen. Anyway, 20th Century Studios, I still wish they called it Fox, but whatever, has announced that Dan Trachtenberg's critically acclaimed Predator prequel is officially the #1 premiere on the streaming service to date, including all film and TV series debuts. Additionally, Prey is the most watched film premiere on Star Plus in Latin America and Disney Plus under the Star banner in all of the territories, based on hours watched in the first 3 days of its release. Audiences have been starved of a really effective Predator movie for many years, one could argue since the 80s original. I like Predator 2. I really like Predator 2. And Hulu did a terrific job of marketing the action-packed sci-fi flick. So they didn't though, did they? Because the marketing was crap because the marketing made it look as though it were going to be like this woke nonsense, this young girl who they said she were breaking stereotypes or breaking gender norms, making it sound like we were going to be lectured to, but we won't. So that's a good thing. So this probably won't come as much of a surprise. The film was also a huge hit with critics, currently sitting at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. That means sod all, doesn't it, really? Prey is the story of a young woman, and we're going to see it here in a minute. No, I don't say it. Anyway, Prey, this is the blurb. Prey is the story of a young woman, Naru, a fierce and highly skilled warrior. Well, she's not really. Yeah, she can be fierce, and she trains herself. She's quite good with an axe. Not that good with a bow and arrow. But, was being raised in the shadow of some of the most legendary hunters who roam the Great Plains. So when danger threatens her camp, she sets out to protect her people. The prey she stalks, and it's not only her, and ultimately confronts, turns out to be a highly evolved alien predator. He's not that highly evolved. With a technically advanced arsenal, resulting in a vicious and terrifying showdown between the two adversaries. Yeah, well, that's the blurb. Prey stars Amber Mid-Thunder, great name, newcomer Dakota Beavers, who is amazing. He plays Naru's brother. And he's, eats up the screen. He's great. He's great. It's going to go a long way, hopefully. Stormy Kip, Michelle Thrush. Michelle Thrush played Naru's mother, who we don't see a lot of, apart from, giving sage advice. I don't know who these others play. Julian Black Antelope and Dane Diliegro. Sorry, Dane. As the Predator. Oh, I think he was a basketball player, wasn't he? He's a big tall chap. The film is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, written by Patrick Aison, and produced by John Davis, Jay Myers. Is this all we're getting? Oh, is that it? Oh, I thought we were going to have a long article about, why it was so good. But we haven't. Oh, never mind. So there you go. So that's that. So anyway, it's really good. You should watch it. Ignore the naysayers who say it's woke, because it isn't. As I've said before online, and people have disagreed with me, some people have agreed with me, that if you think Prey's woke, then you obviously must think that Alien and Aliens is woke, because, Ripley wasn't exactly Arnold Schwarzenegger, was she? But she beat an alien more than once. She wasn't the bestest ever, but neither is Naru. Right, so let's look for something else. What we got? That's Prey news, isn't it? Sci-Fi news. Let's see what we can find. Hit sci-fi series The Orville is now available on Disney+. Yeah, well, it has been for a while. Well, that's in America, though, isn't it? Where can we it's this heat. It's lovely and warm here in Yorkshire. Bit too warm. I've got my ceiling fan on up there. Not that you can see. But you might hear it. Maybe, I don't know. But it's quite quiet. Chris Marshall says it'd be an honour to star in Doctor Who. Right then, let's have a look at this one. We'll open the link in a new tab and we'll do it like that. Right, that's Chris Marshall. Oh, God, I hate them things. You might know him. I think he's been in quite a lot of stuff, but I mostly remember him being the chap in Love Actually, who goes to America. But he's been in loads of other stuff as well. Right, so what's he saying? Whenever there's a vacancy at the helm of the TARDIS, it seems that Chris Marshall's name enters the conversation. He'd probably be a good doctor. And the actor has now weighed in on the phenomenon, saying it's an honour to be considered for Doctor Who. The actor was speaking with RadioTimes.com and other press on the set of Sanditon Season 2, where he also praised the Sci-Fi series as a really integral show in this country. Marshall said it was always an honour to be considered, for it's a really integral show in this country. You just said that up there. And other countries as well. One that's so long running with such a brilliant history. To be someone to take on that rich mantle or even be considered for it is a brilliant honour. He just keeps repeating himself, doesn't he? But if someone had approached me to do such a brilliant, rich historical part like that, then I probably would have done my research, and I've never seen it, never watched it. Like, you've never seen Doctor Who. It's like these people that say, I've never seen Star Wars. How can you avoid it? I mean, it's been on telly that much, and I've got no interest in it. Well, get an interest in it. It's getting me mad up now. I've sat and watched Casablanca, and I think it's crap, so there. I was bored shitless watching Casablanca. Oh, it's one of the best films ever made. This comes after Marshall recently said that he's never been approached for the role, explaining that the rumours may have spread because I left Death in Paradise around the same time as Peter Capaldi left Doctor Who, so the tabloids must have put 2 and 2 together to make 5. Marshall shouldn't have to fend off too many Doctor Who rumours for the time being. Not only is the show fully staffed with both Ncuti Gatwa's new Doctor, I hope he's good, but from the press, that we've seen, and the media that we've seen, I'm not building my hopes up. And David Tennant's returning Doctor in the 60th anniversary show, set to lead the show over the next couple of years, but Marshall also has his own hands busy. Yeah, he's doing other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Right, fair enough. So Chris Marshall would be honoured to be in Doctor Who, even though he's never watched it. What a knob. Well, let's find something else. Let's have a look. By the way, rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John. Oh, I love Grease. Another one of my favourite films. I've got my AC/DC t-shirt on. I'm a bit of a metalhead. I've got the hair for it. Look, can you see it? Well, you probably can't because they're stupid. Backdrop. I love me metal, but me rock. But I do love Grease. It's a great film. It's one of my favourites. And Olivia Newton-John, she was gorgeous right to the end. Anyway, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Raymond Briggs, creator of The Snowman. Hey, dropping like flies. Again. Right then, what we're looking at? Right, another Orville, blah, blah. Orville Season 4, well, they haven't even, let's have a look. Because as far as I know, Orville Season 4 hasn't been greenlit yet. So let's wait for this to come on. When it's ready, here we go. Right. I've been clicking on and off the. I hope I remember these pages I've gone to, because go away, bloody ad blocker. Right, hang on. Pause on this site. Right. Press refresh. I know it's how they make money. They make the money, don't they, from the ads, but they're a pain in the arse, aren't they? Right, the future of sci-fi television depends on season 4 of The Orville. Well, I hope it's better than. I wasn't really over impressed with season 3, to be honest. I enjoyed it for the most part, but I didn't like the finale. Although it was a good episode, I didn't think it was a good finale. I didn't think it was a good way for the season to end, and it could be the end of the series. So, because you could say, it all wrapped it up and it were all lovely, but it didn't really, did it? Right, Orville Season 3 has seen the Hulu series grow into the sophisticated sci-fi show it promised to be. Season 4 is necessary for the genre's future. After an absence of more than 2 years, the Orville finally returned on Hulu instead of its native Fox. And it was worth the wait. It was all right. Seth MacFarlane's space opera transformed in Season 3 from goofy Star Trek homage. It was the early seasons. Season 1. It wasn't very good. Season 1 aired alongside Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery. And I actually preferred Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery to Season 1 of The Orville. That's how bad it was in my eyes, for the most part. I quite enjoyed Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery, to be honest. It had a lot of faults, but I quite enjoyed the story, to be honest. Even though I hated the Klingons, the way they looked, and a lot of other stuff I didn't like, but I was just drawn into it a bit. But that's never mind, right? And the Orville season 1 was just a load of fart gags and knob gags, and it was. Although it did have some good episodes, but it was spoilt with the comedy. But then season 2 were less so comedy. Season 3 hardly any comedy in it. Occasional quips. Where were we? Having built a bigger world with deeper themes, the series can now stand comfortably alongside the best the genre has to offer. Yeah, I suppose so. The show's future is once again up in the air. Hulu has yet to renew or cancel the series, while McFarlane hopes that recently being added to Disney Plus will increase viewership enough to justify Season 4. But a 4th season of The Orville isn't just something that viewers want. It's something that science fiction television desperately needs to survive. That and Stargate on Amazon. # We Want Stargate. On Twitter. My beard keeps draping over the microphone. I need to shave. When The Orville was announced in 2017, the reaction ranged from mild curiosity to outright rejection. Many would-be viewers felt that the show, pitched as a Star Trek parody / homage, would be McFarlane doing the Naked Gun in space with a fair amount of Family Guy humour thrown in for good measure. It's kind of what it was. The show's initial trailers, which contained jokes about urination and pratfalls aplenty, did little to inspire confidence. Whoa, where are you going? But once the show premiered, it was actually good. Then in the ensuing weeks, something extraordinary happened. The Orville went from not bad to great. While some fans missed the goofy humour, I don't. That was more prevalent through the first 2 seasons. It's clear that the series found its footing once it moved beyond that light-hearted attitude and started using its compelling cast of characters to ask challenging questions and address contemporary issues. And there's Charlie Burke, the lovely Ann Winters, who, spoilers, only lasted 1 season. Popped her clogs in the penultimate episode. Blew herself to bits. Season 1, Episode 7, Majority Rule, looked at society's social media addiction. Season 1, Episode 12, Mad Idolatry, examined religion. The 3-season arc involving Bortus's child Topa, born female but surgically made male, in keeping with their species' tradition, has been one of the most well-handled storylines about gender identity on television. Yeah, it's been done very well and not... it's not like lecturing you. Other sci-fi shows also use their plots as allegories to explore social issues, but what separates The Orville from its contemporaries is what also makes it important to the genre's future. Hope. It's common in today's sci-fi to present a bleak, almost nihilistic view of the future. The Expanse shows a universe. It's not a universe, it's like the solar system, isn't it? Oh, well, I suppose it is the... Once they found, the Stargate, I don't know what they're called, the portals or whatever, then they moved out into the universe, didn't they? But up until then, it was just in the solar system, wasn't it? Anyway, riddled by division and corruption, with humans living in virtual squalor in the solar system's asteroid belt, even the much vaunted Star Trek, long the bastion of future optimism, has leaned into a darker, heavier vision of tomorrow. It has. But Strange New Worlds is amazing. But The Orville bucked tradition by daring to show a future where, even in the face of war, tragedy and impending disaster, people still saw the best in each other. Season 3 unfolded against the backdrop of a war with the Kalon, a species of AI life forms who have a grudge against their human creators. Well, they weren't human, were they? We saw them in the penultimate episode where we saw the creators of the Kalon. Were they called the Kalon as well? I don't know, but they weren't human. In Season 3, Episode 9, Domino, the Planetary Union, devised a doomsday weapon that had the power to wipe out the Kalon for good. However, rather than use it to commit genocide, McFarlane's character Ed Mercer wanted to use it as a bargaining chip in a bid for peace. Even when threatened with annihilation, the characters on The Orville opted to hope for a better tomorrow. On the other side, One of the other... Where did they get on the other side from? One of the other main story arcs in Season 3 was that of new crew member Charlie Burke, the lovely Anne Winters, who had lost the woman she loved to the Kalon. Throughout the season, she grappled with her hatred of Kalon crew member Isaac, holding him indirectly responsible for her lover's death, even though he was kind of directly responsible. Yet when Isaac deactivated himself to spare the crew any further pain in Season 3, Episode 1, Electric Sheep, Charlie set aside her personal grievances to save her colleague. In Domino, she sacrificed her own life so that the doomsday weapon didn't fall into the wrong hands. It was the kind of selfless act that would have not felt out of place on the bridge of the original Enterprise, or even the Enterprise D, or E. Or on Deep Space Nine, or the Voyager. Or the NX-01. The Orville deserves credit not just for taking everyone's expectations of what the show was supposed to be and turning them upside down, but being a show that dares to believe that there will be a unified galaxy in 300 years. I better make sure I'm streaming, aren't I? Yes, I am. I thought I'd check that. So I'm not having the best day so far with this streaming malarkey. It went wrong. It would have been very easy for McFarlane to fuse Star Trek and his love for 80s pop culture and coast in the same lane that has made Family Guy a TV staple, but he dared to aim higher, and he built a series that won over even its harshest critics. While McFarlane waits for a decision about Season 4, audiences should be hoping that he gets the chance to tell more stories. Season 3 filled an important void. The Orville captures a different vision of the future than any other sci-fi television series except Star Trek. And it's a vision that the genre desperately needs. And more Stargate as well. Hashtag we want Stargate. Do it on Twitter. Let Amazon know we want more Stargate. And we want more The Orville. And we want more Star Trek. We want more of everything, don't we? We want as cake and we want to eat it. I'd better find these, hadn't I? So I can put the links. Where did I put? Where's the previous one I watched? The Doctor Who one, right? I'll better open that again. Open link in new tab. Right. And the first one, I'll find the other one later. Right, where were we? The first one was about Prey, wasn't it? I'll find the link for that again. A board pilot encounters a space oddity in sci-fi short carrier. I don't know that. What's that? Blade Runner Black Lotus. That's a comic. Tin Can, never heard of it. Subnautica Creator. Is that a game? I think it is, isn't it? Oh, my PlayStation, it says. There's not a lot happening, is there? Really? Not that's piquing my interest anyway. You might be screaming, click on that, but, you know, shite to you. I'll do what I want to do. This sci-fi comedy horror you likely forgot featured Olivia Newton-John. Let's have a look at that. Because I've just mentioned her. Rest in peace. Oh, for God's sake, here we go. There she is. Right, Olivia Newton-John passed away today. Well, whenever. I don't know today's date. The other day. August 8th, 2022. At the age of 73, with the news of her passing provided by her husband, John Easterling, confirmed by TMZ, now's a good time to look back on her incredible career. I want to look at that. We all know her from Grease and Xanadu, don't we? Right, but where's the sci-fi? Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. Olivia Newton-John brought her talents to Sharknado 5, Global Swarming, alongside her daughter. Is that a daughter? Bloody Nora. This looks a little bit like Peyton Reese. Remember the wrestler, the female wrestler from WWE? I forgot what she's called now. She's in another company now. Looks a bit like her. Anyway, right. That's right. Dame Olivia Newton-John had one of the many celebrity cameos in the 2017 sci-fi horror hybrid Sharknado 5 Global Swarming. I think I've only seen the first two of those Sharknados, to be honest. Anyway, the film sees Ian Ziering and Tara Reid reprising their roles as Finn Shepherd and April Wexler. So I laugh at about Tara Reid because, you know, she was supposed to be a big star, wasn't she? But now she does like Sharknado films, and I don't get it. An ex-surfer turned shark hunter and is now completely bionic wife. See, this is what happens, you see, when you don't keep up with the series of films. During the film, they spend most of the plot trying to track down their son, who's been sucked into the latest Sharknado. Along the way, they bump into Orion and Electra, two scientists who help repair April. And people get paid to write this stuff. And yet my scripts get sent back unread. Bloody BBC and ITV. Where were we? Orion and Electra are played by Olivia Newton-John and her daughter Chloe Lattanzi, respectively. During the scene, Newton-John manages to make several references to her classic songs like Magic, Physical, and You're the One That I Want. Newton-John and Lattanzi are just two of the many, many cameos featured in Sharknado 5. They're joined by Fabio, who plays the Pope. Is that Caro or Charo? I don't know. Who plays the Queen of England? Chris Kattan, who plays the British Prime Minister. I've never heard of these. I've heard the Fabio, but these others I've no idea. Clay Aiken, who plays another scientist, and Geraldo Rivera, oh no, him, as a Zeppelin pilot. Several other celebrities played themselves, including, Bret Michaels. Is that the singer from Poison? I think it is. Kathy Lee Gifford. I don't know. I know the name, but I can't think from where. Was she like a daytime TV presenter in America? I don't know. Hoda Kotb, how do you pronounce that? Al Roker, Jeff Ross, and Kate Garraway. No, her, she's British. Charlotte Hawkins, Laura Tobin, Tom Daly. Is that the diver? Or is it a different Tom Daly? I don't know. Carl Stefanovich, Lisa Wilkinson, Kat Greenleaf, and Dan Fogler. Olivia Newton-John was an icon, which was also clearly someone who was willing to poke fun at themselves. She will be missed. Actors we lost in 2022. So we have a look, eh? We'll have a quick look. Meatloaf, yeah. Oh, Meatloaf. Yeah, him, Bob Saget. Is it Saget? I don't know. Oh yeah, guy, he died, didn't he? He was in a big film, wasn't he? What film were he in? Oh no, he was in Moon Knight, wasn't he? He was in Moon Knight. That's where I know him from. But he was in the young Hannibal Lecter, but Hannibal Rising, I think. Louis Anderson. Don't know him. Sorry. Sidney Poitier. The great Sidney Poitier. You know, everybody remembers him from, you know, look, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner and that other one. That one about, you know, is it Mississippi and all that? Is it Mississippi Burning? No, but that's Sidney Poitier. I'm thinking of another. Oh, In the Heat of the Night, that's what I'm thinking of. But I remember him from Deadly Pursuit, which were called something else in America, but here in Britain were called Deadly Pursuit. It was him, Tom Berenger, Kirstie Alley on the trail of like a killer played by Clancy Brown in the American Northwest, and it ends up in Canada. It's an amazing film. I love it, and he's really good in it. He's an action star, and they were knocking on then. Hey, what were it called now? It was Deadly Pursuit in the UK, but it was called something else in America, and I can't remember what. Obviously, it doesn't mention it here because it wasn't one of his most, you know, respected films, I suppose. I bet it made him the most money. Peter Robbins, Moses J. Mosley. I've got to admit, I don't know a lot of these are, to be honest. Dale Critchlow, don't know who he is. William Hurt, the great William Hurt. Although, to be honest, I always found him a bit bland. You know, sorry of that, you know, but he wasn't one of my favourites. Estelle Harris, not Name rings a bell. Nehemiah no idea. Gilbert Gottfried. He's one of these, though. Before he died, if you showed me a picture of him, said, who's he? I'd say, oh, yeah, it's him. And I wouldn't remember his name. But now I know his name. Liz Sheridan, don't know. Robert Albert, whatever. There's a lot anyway. A lot of people have popped the clogs. Oh, Fred Ward. Most famous in Tremors, but also in like a TV movie. Either TV or like director, not DVD, but director video. Cast a Deadly Spell. That were a good one. Anyway, let's move on. Before we get too maudlin. Anybody watching? The heck. Hey, what else is there? Let me say the absolute best sci-fi TV shows on Netflix, and you look at them, and then they're not on in like where I am in the UK. Like, they're just on in like America, and you think, unless it's made by Netflix. Which reminds me, I've got to watch The Grey Man. I've heard it's good. That's on Netflix, isn't it? Another bit of Orville there. How Orville is different from other sci-fi. Explained by McFarlane. It's not though, is it? It's just Star Trek now, basically. It's Star Trek without the transporters. They're going to get them one day. If they get a season 4, I mean, every season I say, I bet by the end of the season they discover a transporter. You know, they'll find like an alien that uses it or something and start using it for themselves. But they never do. They're avoiding them. They're just using shuttles. Although sometimes I think they forget in the Orville that they haven't got transporters, because sometimes characters just appear on the ship. And you think, how'd they get there? Nichelle Nichols, yeah, she passed away a few days ago, didn't she? It's very sad. I mean, we say very sad. Like Nichelle Nichols and Raymond Briggs and some others, you know, the passed away in their 80s, and I hope I live to be in my 80s. So it's not super sad, is it? It's sad, yeah, but it's not. They've had full lives, you know, and I hope I live to be in my 80s. 10 years to go. No, I'm not that old. Not quite. Right. All the sci-fi television shows that have been cancelled this year, yeah. Grant Gustin's The Flash. But, you know. It's all lists, isn't it? It's all lists these days. Not a lot going on then, is there really? Where's this from 2 weeks ago now? Bloody Nora. Let's see if there's any. Right, we'll type in. If I can type. We'll type Star Trek news. We'll do some Star Trek news, and we'll do some Star Wars news. And I'll do some Stargate news as well, see if anything's popped up on that. Right, Star Trek. Strange New Worlds becomes the most watched original Trek series for Paramount Plus. Yeah, well, I presume it is, because it's really good, and I enjoy Strange New Worlds. One key to the final episode, I mean, all the series, I mean, there were 10 episodes, so the first 9 episodes, or the first 8 episodes, it seemed as though Alex Kurtzman didn't know they were making it. So it was free of his influence. And then he found out about it, and particularly in the last episode, it had his grubby fingers all over it. So I didn't really like it. Right, Picard Season 3 might bring a new Enterprise ship into Star Trek canon. Let's have a look, eh? Let's have a look at that one. Because it's ships, and we want ships, don't we? Is it going to be the Enterprise F? Is it Odyssey class? Right, that's it. Yes, Enterprise F, there we go. There might be a new Starship Enterprise introduced in Star Trek Picard Season 3, the highly anticipated third and final season of the Patrick Stewart-led series will reunite Jean-Luc Picard with the entire cast of Star Trek The Next Generation. Or almost the entire cast. Jonathan Frakes' Will Riker, Marina Sirtis, see, he gets an S after his Frakes, an apostrophe, but she don't get one after. I mean, she shouldn't have really. There's probably a term for that, putting an S after an apostrophe for a word that ends in an S. But I'm not an English professor, so I don't know what you call it, You know, like the old Oxford comma and all that. They give names for everything, don't they? But anyway, Marina Sirtis's Deanna Troy, Gates McFadden's Beverly Crusher, Michael Dorn's Worf, or as my mum used to call him, Waff. LeVar Burton's Geordie LaForge, and Brent Spiner playing an old new character. Law? Could be Law or B4. Anyway, are all confirmed to return, or another soon, because they're everywhere, aren't they? Are all confirmed to return for Picard Season 3. In addition, Michelle Hurd's Raffi Musica and Jerry Ryan as Starfleet Commander 7 of 9 will join the TNG cast for what's been touted as their final adventure together. Ooh, a number. And Robert Marbinet says it's really good. I think he's seen it. I don't know if he's seen all of it, but he says it's really good and it's a return to form. And he's been scathing of Kurtzman Trek, hasn't he? He hasn't liked any of it. He didn't even like Strange New Worlds, which I loved. But he says this season 3 of Picard is what they should have done to begin with. So we'll see. Maybe Alex Kurtzman, maybe he's learned his lessons. Maybe, he's been sick of people complaining. He's thought, right, we'll just give them what they want. Not what I want, as in Kurtzman. We'll give them what they want, which, is what it's all about, isn't it? Right, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek Picard were deliberately designed not to be a recreation of Star Trek The Next Generation. The first 2 seasons were bloody awful. Admiral Picard saved the galaxy twice with a ragtag crew that included Raffi, Seven, Soji, Issa, Briones, I don't know how to pronounce that, Elnor, Ivan Evagora. I think it's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Evan. Dr. Agnes Girardi, Alison Pill, the Borg Queen. Oh, God, I hate it. And Captain Cristobal Rios, Santiago Cabrera. However, Star Trek Picard still wove in many appearances from TNG favourites Hugh, Jonathan Del Arco. Riker and Troy made big impacts in Picard Season 1, while Season 2 was the franchise's farewell to Q, John Delancey. And brought back Guinan, Whoopi Goldberg, and another woman. But largely missing from Star Trek Picard, they haven't mentioned 7 of 9, have they? Did I see? No. Well, I know they've got it. They mentioned it up there, didn't they? But there, Jerry Ryan. But they didn't. I was there 7. Didn't see it there, hidden away between Raffi and Soji. But largely missing from Star Trek Picard was the USS Enterprise as Rios' freighter La Serena, another terrible ship, awful design, and the USS Stargazer, which were good, became the featured starships of the series. TNG's Enterprise D briefly appeared in Star Trek Picard Season 1, but the show has overall let Admiral Picard move beyond the starship he is synonymous with, or with which he is synonymous. However, at San Diego Comic-Con 2022, Patrick Stewart hinted on stage that Star Trek Picard Season 3 would see a return to the original Enterprise. He doesn't know what he's on about. I take it with a huge grain of salt, because he doesn't know what he's on about. He's knocking on now, and I think he's getting senile, and I bet they use idiot boards. I won't be surprised. This set off a great deal of speculation that multiple Enterprises could be seen in Season 3, although LeVar Burton recently said at Orlando MegaCon that the TNG cast spent 3 days shooting on a recreation of TNG's Enterprise D's bridge. Star Trek Picard showrunner Terry Matalas, or Matalas, I would say Matalas, took to Twitter to manage expectations, cryptically suggesting, "It's not what you think, so what the F are they talking about? Get it? What the F? Cough. Okay, I'll see myself out." Matalas's tweet strongly hints that Star Trek Picard Season 3 introduces the USS Enterprise F, which will be the successor to the 2 Enterprises commanded by Captain Picard and Captain Data. In the comic Star Trek Countdown, which was a prequel to the J.J. Abrams shit film. Right, the USS Enterprise has yet to officially appear in canon, but Star Trek Picard's early 25th century setting makes it logical that F would be the current Starship Enterprise of this era. After all, the Sovereign-class USS Enterprise E was launched in 2373, prior to Star Trek First Contact, which would make it over 28 years old by Star Trek Picard Season 3, which isn't really old, is it, to be honest? The Enterprise F is featured in Star Trek Online, which has its own history of the early 25th century. According to Star Trek Online, the Odyssey-class Enterprise F was commissioned in 2409, and its captain is an Andorian named Vakel Shon. But Season 3 of Star Trek Picard takes place in the year 2402, apparently, but we'll see. It remains to be seen how much of Star Trek Online's continuity Star Trek Picard Season 3 will keep if it debuts the Enterprise F. None. Although many starships from Star Trek Online appeared in Picard Season 3 and officially joined canon. A bit inside a bit cheap, then, but along with potentially seeing a new Enterprise and the older one TNG fans love best, Star Trek Picard Season 3 is poised to answer lingering questions. Excuse me. I haven't got a drink with me. I forgot to get one. I'm not doing well, am I? Lingering questions such as who took over as captain of the Enterprise E when Picard was promoted to Admiral. Well, it was Data, wasn't it? If that's canon, if that comic is canon, Star Trek Countdown, promoted to Admiral in order to lead the United Federation of Planets mission to rescue the Romulan people when their star went supernova in 2387. Well, it wasn't their star, it was a star, the Hobus star. It was stupid. It was stupid. The tie-in novel Star Trek Picard, The Last Best Hope, indicated that Worf became captain of the Enterprise E after Picard, but that hasn't been confirmed as official canon. Perhaps most importantly, Star Trek Picard Season 3, bringing in the Enterprise F, the latest starship of Starfleet's greatest legacy, would further ensure that history will never forget the name Enterprise. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So that's what the Enterprise F looks like in Star Trek Online. It's quite a nice design. You can't see underneath, but it's got like a twin neck with the main deflector in between. And it looks kind of cool. But it's not the best picture because you don't really see that. There's the doddery old bugger. Right. So that's interesting. Strange New Worlds, most watched. Oh, God, is that all they've got? Oh, by the way, speaking of Star Trek Picard Season 3, the chaps over at The Popcast, look them up on YouTube, Brian and Shane, they did a video today saying that Picard's son could be in Season 3. Don't know who the mother is. The betting is that it's Dr. Crusher, Gates McFadden. But I don't know. I quipped. It's the Borg Queen. But apparently his son is going to be in Season 3 and might be called René Jacques Robert and something else. Picard. So there you go. And he's grown up. He's a grown-up person. Played by somebody that were in Downton Abbey. I can't remember his name. So we'll see. They'll probably forget that, he had a son, in quotes, in the Enterprise, in the Next Generation episode, didn't he? Season 7. Bloodlines. But it turned out not to be his son, really. But it still kind of was. I don't know. It was a crap episode. Lower Decks, not interested. I might try and watch it. I hate Lower Decks, and I never got through all of Season 1. But my mate liked it. Made him laugh. But I hated it. It just annoyed me. When something annoys you and you can feel it there, it's like in between your heart and your stomach. And you feel it there. You feel the anger rising. That's what I like watching Star Trek Lower Decks. Done me bloody head in. So maybe I won't. Star Trek props and costumes set to be displayed at Pennsylvania's American Helicopter Museum. Oh, is that George Takei flying his, I got used to flying a Huey. Very good. Paul W.S. Anderson says Paramount was concerned Event Horizon would tarnish Star Trek. Let's have a look at that, I mean, how? 'Cause that's nothing like Star Trek, is it? I mean, Event Horizon is a really good film. It's his best film, one of his earliest films, Paul W.S. Anderson. You know, he went on to do like the Resident Evil films and the Alien vs. Predator film, which I quite like, to be honest. He did Mortal Kombat, didn't he? Did he do that before Event Horizon or after? I can't remember. Did he do the film Soldier? Was that one of his with Kurt Russell? I think that was one of his, wasn't it? I think his first film was called Shopping. It was about ram raiding, wasn't it? Which I've not seen. But anyway, whatever. Right, after 25 years, Event Horizon has garnered itself a cult following and is considered by many to be one of the best horror sci-fi movies ever made. It is really good. Written by Philip Eisner and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, the film is set in the future and follows a rescue crew boarding a spaceship that had been missing with the hopes of locating survivors. Excuse me. But what they find instead is something much more nightmarish. The film, released on August 15th, 1997, stars Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill, Kathleen Quinlan, and Jolie Richardson, and Jason Isaacs, and Sean Pertwee, and some other people. Looking back at the film in honour of its upcoming 25th anniversary, Anderson had a lot to say about Event Horizon in a new interview with Variety. At the time of its release, there really hadn't been many major motion pictures released that were anything like it, that apparently had Paramount execs shocked by what they saw when Anderson was working on the film, and as the filmmaker explains, this resulted in a lot of tough notes being given to him. I think Paramount was a little shocked. It had all this gross horror and all these disturbing images. I don't think anyone at the studio had really seen that stuff before, because I was shooting in England. Generally, people from the studio watch what the main unit shoots, but all of the horror stuff was being done second unit, directed by me on the weekends. I don't think anyone at the studio actually watched the second unit material, so they hadn't seen all the impalings and all the other people getting their eyes out and in the intestines. I got a lot of tough notes. I mean, there's that scene, isn't there, where they're watching a video and it's showing people, you know, there's all this horrible stuff going on, but you're just seeing like quick images. And I think in the commentary for the film that's on that Blu-ray or the DVD, I think it says that there used to be, you know, a proper copy of that footage, you know, in high definition, or a proper film copy of that, but it got lost and nobody knows where it is. All we've got now is this, you know, low quality footage. If you're into your gore, we'll probably never see that in its entirety. It was supposedly it was sick. You know, like eyes gouged out and intestines, and somebody having their fist shoved down the throat, and all horrible stuff like that. Anyway, in the interview, Anderson also says how one person at Paramount has suggested to him that making an outer space movie with such horrific imagery could potentially tarnish the Star Trek brand. Someone actually said to me, we're the studio that makes Star Trek. They weren't only horrified by my movie, they felt I was besmirching Star Trek somehow, because I was also in space and doing all this terrible stuff. Kurt Russell knew the film would become a cult classic. Even when Event Horizon was released, it didn't exactly pull in the box office numbers that Anderson and Paramount had been hoping for. Little did he know that in due time, the film would get recognition as more and more fans came around, turning Event Horizon into a cult favourite. But someone who had known at the time that Event Horizon would hold up would be actor Kurt Russell. When the movie was first released, it did okay business, but it wasn't what I had hoped for. I was going on to make a movie with Kurt Russell, 1998's sci-fi action film Soldier, or that were after. And I showed him Event Horizon. He said, Paul, in 20 years' time, that's the movie you're going to be really glad you made. He was right. It's his best film. I thought it was very generous of Kirk, considering I was about to go make a movie with him. The film was striking. It didn't pull its punches, and it was true to what it wanted to do. We didn't have a huge amount of time to cut trailers and do posters and do a very elaborate campaign, but over time people found the movie. It's been a wonderful experience to see the audience for it grow. In honour of the 25th anniversary, a new limited edition 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray steelbook of Event Horizon is now available. As for Anderson, he'll be shooting his next movie in the Lost Lands with Milla Jovovich. Surprise, surprise. And Dave Bautista in November. I like Milla Jovovich, but, it's his missus, isn't it? So there you go. So that's interesting. The original display, the original model of the original Enterprise is going back on display at the Smithsonian. Because they took it away, didn't they, for some reason? It was there for donkey's years, wasn't it? And they took it away, but now it's going back. Yay! Not that I'll ever go and see it, because I'll never go to America. Never. Not because I don't want to, just the opportunity will never arise. Not at my age. Star Trek's best captain wants another movie. I think that's Patrick Stewart said he'd do another movie. But as I said, he's not really talking about. I think he's gone, Because they were saying at Comic-Con he were forgetting what he were talking about and he wasn't understanding, questions that were asked of him. So it might have just been an off day, but I think he's going. I think he's on his way. Which is sad. But he's not getting any younger, is he? But I'm going on. I'm digging a hole for myself, aren't I? Right, so we'll leave that. So we'll look up Star Wars news. See what that brings. Oscar Isaac's hoping to return it to Star Wars. I thought he'd done with it. Must be running low on money. Not the opportunities are not coming as thick and fast as he thought. Maybe. Star Wars villainous review. Oh, it's a board game. Disney Star Wars has completely retconned one Revenge of the Sith line. Ooh, that's piqued me interest. Let's have a look at that. Right. But nobody minds. Right, well, then what's he said? Disney's Star Wars has completely retconned one line from Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The Sith had waited for 1,000 years, operating in the shadows, careful to avoid the attention of the Jedi. Palpatine. I don't know why I said Tine. Palpatine was the culmination of everything his predecessors had worked for. The Sith who successfully took control of the Republic and who ultimately exacted revenge upon the Jedi. As powerful as Palpatine may have been, though, there was one Jedi he doesn't seem to have wanted to meet after he had been outed as a Sith. Master Yoda, my little green friend. The Sith Lord initially claimed to be delighted at the chance to battle the aged Jedi Grand Master, but it's notable that the duel between Palpatine and Yoda began with Darth Sidious attempting to flee rather than resort to lightsaber combat. He doesn't seem to have been confident he would win. You will not stop me, he hissed, and then explained what he meant. Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us. The dialogue clearly implied that as powerful as Palpatine considered himself to be, he thought Anakin Skywalker would be even greater. It suggests Palpatine was acting in accordance with the rule of two when he chose Anakin as his apprentice, ensuring the continued ascendance of the Sith by recruiting the most powerful Force-sensitive he had ever encountered. It is ironic, then, where are you going? That Disney's Star Wars has essentially ignored this one line of dialogue. I don't even remember it. Darth Sidious's motives have been rewritten, with Palpatine recast as a Sith heretic who would go to any lengths to conquer death. According to Disney-era canon, Palpatine considered himself to be the personal culmination of the Sith, the fulfillment of everything they had sought to achieve, and he saw no reason to plan passing on his empire. Rather, he viewed the Chosen One as an instrument, a tool that would secure his eternal reign. This would be achieved either through the creation of a forced dyad, which the Sith revered as a route to immortality, or through Darth Plagueis' sinister technique of essence transfer. The Emperor imagined transporting his spirit into Darth Vader's body at the moment of his own death, thereby claiming the power of Star Wars as the Chosen One for himself. Ironically, this particular retcon is probably something of an accident. As spectacular as the duel between Palpatine and Yoda may be, most attention is focused on its outcome, and few viewers really notice Palpatine seems a somewhat unwilling participant. Have they changed Revenge of the Sith then? Have they re-edited it? The one that's on Disney Plus now or something? I don't know. There's a sense in which the Disney era, and in truth most audiences, have bought into Palpatine's own egotistical claims about himself. They believe the Emperor is almost invincible, the greatest power in the galaxy because of his mastery of the dark side, an imbalance in the Force so great he could not possibly be defeated in battle with Yoda. In reality, however, Darth Sidious is not all-powerful. He attempts to run. He fears being outmatched. And in a neat parallel with the concurrent duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan, he only wins when he claims the higher ground. That's a load of rubbish, though, isn't it? I mean, Darth Sidious running away from Yoda, but bloody Darth Tyrannus, Christopher Lee, Count Dooku, he didn't run from Yoda, did he? Well, not really. He fought him and then, made things fall down and distracted him, and then he ran off. Some Star Wars retcons are controversial. This one, however, is so in keeping with popular culture they goes almost unnoticed. It's best explained away as a lie on Palpatine's part, a bluff as he tries to manipulate Yoda into thinking he has a chance. Nobody will particularly mind accepting that interpretation of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith for quite a while, so I honestly can't remember. I can't remember that, this is what they're talking about here at the beginning, where we go with this. Darth Vader will become more powerful than either of us. I don't remember that bit. Or is that a bit they've added in? I don't know. I'll have to watch it. Got Disney Plus, I'll have to watch it. Anyway. Never mind, Nelly's to it. Right, we'll leave it there. I've had enough. Right, so it's not a lot going on, is there? I don't even know why I wanted to do a show today. I just thought I better do something, because I haven't done anything for a while, and there's no shows for me to review at the moment. I might do She-Hulk. That's on in, I don't know, today's date, 10th. It's in about a week, innit? The 18th of August, She-Hulk starts. Because Andor's been put back, hasn't it, to September. And with no Star Trek coming up. Orville's just finished. So, I didn't like Sandman. People say, oh, watch Sandman, it's great. I didn't like it. I watched one episode, it wasn't for me. But I'm not familiar with the comic, or graphic novel, or whatever the hell it is. I'm not familiar with that, because I'm not a big comic reader, not since I was a kid. I tried getting back into comics, but, I'm too old, I think. I'm too old. So I'm not going to review The Sandman, because I didn't like episode 1. Didn't like it. I thought it looked cheap, and it just reminded me of American Gods. That was another Neil Gaiman thing, wasn't it? American Gods. So is that all he knows how to write about, gods and stuff like that? I don't know. Right. If you can hear noises, I've got the window open because it's lovely and warm, and some neighbours they're doing something that's noisy. I don't know if they're cutting the hedges or whatever, but it's making loads of racket. So we'll leave it there. Right, so wherever you are in the universe, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say thee. And hopefully next time I might have a new hat. I've ordered a new cap with the logo on there, so I'll have to put this stupid thing behind me. I couldn't be bothered getting my green screen out. Not my green screen, my black screen, my backdrop, my black. Because it means, putting up poles and stuff. And to be honest, I couldn't be bothered because it's too warm to be faffing about. So that's why. Anyway, right, so I'm going now. Bye.